past 2 games, John, I mean, as much as you score a lot of goals, how much is this about protecting the net and the way you guys have been engaged defensively?
Well, we just played these guys, a few days ago, and the game did not look like it did tonight. And it just goes to show it really matters the way you play in your own end, and it does have an effect on how you play in the other end. And again, like these games, the last couple we've had here, this doesn't happen very often, and you have to have some breaks. Pucks have eyes for you, and they have for us a couple nights, but we're doing the right thing. And I just, when you're doing that and it's just constantly on repeat, good things are going to happen for you. But the big thing is how we're playing, without the puck and inside the dots, and when we're limiting teams the way we have, the last couple, this is kind of a byproduct of that.
I had so many of them over the last couple of years with the video for Sergey. It seemed like it was just a fever pitch out there.
Yeah, that was tough. It was Sergey's, and then went back to back with Max, and we haven't had one in I guess it feels like a little while. But Sergey was such a big part of our organization, and I couldn't believe. Sergey always just seems like a young kid to me, and the fact that he's played like 7 or 8 years here, it's mind-boggling to me. But he was, he's got his fingerprints all over our Stanley Cups and the growth and progression of this organization, and he should be extremely proud. And now he's, and playing for an organization that's on the cusp, fighting for the playoffs, and you can tell he's a big leader over there, and he's really going to help that team.
Again, tonight we saw Bjorky and Yanni playing very well together, and they were part of one of the goals. Do you foresee pairing them up as we continue through the season?
Yeah, one of the things when your post-trade deadline is with the fit, where everybody's going to fit. So we've kind of moved things around, and it's hard to say. We've played pretty well these past couple games the way the lines have been set, but I mean, we'll see. But I think there's, those two guys have, they played together in Seattle, and there's a familiarity there. And so it's worked the last couple games. So, naturally we'll keep this going.
Game for Mac tonight. We see some of his former teammates here today coming in town for the, obviously the big event on Saturday. But, as great of a player he is, can you talk to just the man?
Yeah, it's, I think I said this before, it's rare to be on the all quarter century team with one team, let alone, 2 teams in this organization. And, that's Mac for you. He's a rare breed of warrior. He's got skill, he's got brains, and he's, nails as a guy. And everybody knows it. Every teammate knows it. That's why everybody's here to see him. And, I've been pretty fortunate to witness 3 of these, Hetty, Stammer, and now Mac. And it's just 3 class acts that, when you're around that long, you've got some good qualities about you. Not only your playing ability, but, how you are as a guy. And Mac is he's top of the list.
Do you sense on a night like this that there's an extra energy in the locker room that guys really want to get this done for a guy like Mac?
Well, there's no question. He's a, we have a lot of leaders on this team, but everybody knows what he meant to us, especially when he was traded here a number of years ago, the first time. And as we were up and coming as an organization and trying to get over the top, and he was one of those guys that we traded for that reason. And it didn't happen right away, but eventually it did. And I think, there's, after having those, 3 finals in a row, to get him back, after, having some good runs and unfortunately being knocked out in the first round. But, to get him back, I think is, it's really helped, solidify kind of the defensive side of the game for us in so many different ways, but also the mentality of our team. And as I said, I've coached some great ones over the years, but he'll be in, special group at the top there with some of the guys that I've mentioned. Just for what a class act he's been.